10 Drunken Facts.
Hello, I'm Sigourney Weaver. Won't you please join us as we explore the wonders of 10 Drunken Facts?
Nice.
Just kidding. I'm Christina, and with me is my husband, Devin.
Hello.
This is our podcast, 10 Drunken Facts, where we ask each other 10 facts, 6 ABC and 4 true or false.
Yep.
Answer them right, and the other takes a shot. Answer them wrong, and you take a shot. Feel free to play along with us.
Yes. Please do.
Woohoo! Today is a special day. It's Halloween.
Woo!
This is our Halloween episode.
Spooky.
Although the next episode technically
was also Halloween.
It was Halloween Eve. It was last night.
Yeah.
So
Doing these back to back.
So yeah, it's a little, the posting will be a little awkward. But
Yeah.
However, we're episode 5. Episode 6 was technically recorded.
Yeah, we're doing this one. It's gonna be posted, tomorrow. And then the next one, we have our guests with us because we want to keep it every other with the guests. So then we have time to just have me and Christina as well. So.
Yes. Today we are drinking
Smirnoff.
No, we're not drinking Smirnoff.
It's not. Oh. Pineapple Amsterdam. Same thing.
But it is not the same thing. Okay.
Alright.
With Sprite.
With Sprite, yeah.
So let's do our marble game.
Marbles.
Matrix marble game. So choose the red and you get to go first.
Yep.
Choose the blue and the other person goes first.
Okay. And keep in mind I can't see them. Like they're in her hand.
Yes. Okay.
So it's not like
Shake
I'm
them
just
up
picking one.
and pick the hand you believe is the right hand.
Alright, I'm going. You're right.
You start first.
Alright. Perfect. Alright, let's kick this off right. Let's do this real quick. Cheers. Clink. Disgusting. I went on a little kick here. On what form of entertainment was Peaky Blinders originally told?
Okay.
A. A book. B. An old radio show. Or C. A play.
Man. Shit. I'm gonna say B.
Okay. Peaky Blinders was actually written by none other than Stephen King himself. And was based on a...
know that.
Yeah, he wrote the story of Peaky Blinders.
No wonder why we love it so
I
much.
fucking love Peaky Blinders. It is so good. If you're not watching that show, watch that show right now.
Dude, that's great. No wonder why we love
it's
it
Stephen
so
King.
much.
When I found that out, that's when I was like, yo, what?
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, we were just talking about him last night. And I was going to do something where Stephen King was the answer, but I knew that would have gave it to you right away, so I tried to finesse it in there.
Well, honestly, like, when I thought at first, I'm like, well, books like the obvious
Yeah,
option.
exactly.
So, like,
And then I threw out the
else.
old radio show was like, oh, that's so bizarre. There's no way she's not gonna pick that. Like that's so out there. He wrote it. I don't know if it was a book or a short story or whatever it was. It was in a book at least. But catch this, based on a story his father told him when he was 8 years old, and may or may not be about his own relatives, the Sheldons.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, and even though history tells us that the Peaky Blinders were no longer after 1890, the show purposely takes place in 1919. Yeah, so he obviously had this date set in his head. Like, if he wanted to be more accurate and this was just willy-nilly, he would just make it during, 20 years earlier. But he purposely said it. And the words may or may not were actually quotes from Stephen King.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Isn't that so cool?
That's so cool. Well,
one for you. I got you for like the first time, it feels like. I'm getting better.
The fact alone is so good.
Yeah. I think I'm like getting there with coming up with questions that are kind of out there. I don't know.
My first question is, how much did the largest pumpkin ever weigh?
Okay. So these are going to be numbers, huh?
So how much did the largest pumpkin ever weigh?
Okay.
A, 836 pounds.
Holy shit.
B, 973 pounds. C, 524 pounds.
Okay, I'm gonna go with A, the 800.
836?
Yes.
The largest pumpkin ever measured was grown by Norm Craven, who broke the world record in 1993 at 836
Hey!
pounds, which is about that of a walrus.
Are you serious? I love that. That's good. Was that under the fact when you read it, or
Yes.
did you like go, okay?
No, that was, yes.
I thought you were like, what are other things that are 800 pounds? Oh, a walrus.
Yes, so you're right again, and I will take
Yes.
another shot.
Feeling good.
Go ahead and read your...
All right. While you're at it.
Yes.
All right. I worded this weirdly, so I'm going to try and like proofread it real quick. Oh, yeah. Okay. Which one of these actors from Peaky Blinders doesn't actually have the accent that they had in the show? A. Detective Campbell, Sam Neill. B. Tommy Shelby, Cillian Murphy. Or C. Polly Gray, Helen McCrory. And then also, I'm going to do a little game here. D. All the above. But if you pick D and you're wrong, you have to do 2 shots. If you pick D and you're right, I take 2 shots.
I don't like that.
Little curveball at you.
Cillian is a very Irish name.
It is.
Yeah, so he plays English, right?
Yeah.
His name is very Irish.
Right.
And they do reference the Irish, but it's close. But let's see, the guy who played in Jurassic Park, who had an English accent in Jurassic Park, makes me think like, well, I mean, who fucking knows? Like, if he was, is he faking in Jurassic Park, or is he faking?
Right. Which one is he really?
Right. So that leads me to believe, like, there's kind of 2 of them so far. Who's the other one, Polly?
Yeah, Polly Gray. Helen McCrory.
I'm gonna say D just, and I don't really care what happens.
Okay. All right. Well, here are some fun facts. Detective Campbell actually helped, aka Sam Neill, actually had help from Liam Neeson himself to perfect his Irish accent in Peaky Blinders.
Wow.
Yes. But also, because Birmingham has a very specific accent, they all had to learn a different accent. So if we're getting super technical here, D would be correct. Helen McGregor learned her accent from continuously watching Ozzy Osbourne videos.
Oh my gosh.
Getting the accent right.
That's so funny.
And then Cillian Murphy learned his Birmingham accent, even though they're both British. By the way, Sam Neill is actually from New Zealand. He's not British either. So he had a New Zealand accent.
Sam Neill? Which one?
The guy from Jurassic Park.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he had...
Well, I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
because he had this, like, weird... Like, his accents were a little bit weird in each. Because, like, when I was listening to him in Peaky Blinders, I'm like... Well, maybe that's why, like, he kind of has that, like, kind of weird sound. Because, like, usually when someone, like, when he was talking in Jurassic Park, I mean. Because, like, usually, like, people that don't actually speak English, when you hear them, like,
right.
There's, like, a distinction where you're like, oh, that sounds kind of weird. But...
I would have given you the right answer whether you would have picked him or D, because... His accent is completely different from what he had to go for,
right.
But technically they all had to learn an accent.
That's
just because of the like different accents within England.
Yeah.
But this is the coolest one, is that Cillian Murphy learned his by going out to Birmingham one night on a Saturday at a pub and talked to the local people. Guess what that pub was?
Was it the same pub?
The actual Garrison.
No.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
That's
it's a real
crazy.
fucking place. Yeah.
That is wild.
Yes.
Dude, this like, just saying, like, I'm promoting this show. It is so good.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
I recommend it. You gotta check it out.
Stephen King,
like,
man.
Well, and also, like, there's the fact of, like, it's not just us, but other people of, like, everyone always, like, usually, like, tells another person to watch a show. Like, a bunch of people have told us, like, I gotta watch it out. You gotta check out Peaky Blinders. And, like, a lot of the times I feel like this keeps happening is people start watching it. They're like, I don't know. And then they stop. But then, like, people kept on saying to us, like, oh, no, you gotta keep trying. And so we did, and we, like, love it now. And same with, like, some, the other people who, like, told us to watch it. They're like, no, same with me. Like, I tried it once.
I think what it is I think what it is the world building in the beginning is slow in that first episode. Yeah. But then once you get into the story and the nitty gritty, then you start to enjoy the characters more.
Right. And like, even just now, like, just tonight, like, I mean, everyone we seem to talk to about it, like, that does not watch it and has not continued to watch it, seems to say the same thing. Like, oh, well, we kind of started to watch it. Like, like, you just have to push through a little bit.
I think just the beginning of the first episode, because I remember the first time we turned it on, it was like, oh, what's going on? He's just riding a horse, and it looks shitty around here. Like, I don't get it. But then once I get in, you're like, I don't know.
I mean, I know
it's an interesting time,
I know a
too.
couple people who said, like, the first 3 episodes. I mean, there's some debate on when it'll hook you, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyways,
so that's 2 for me, actually. Yes. Because, I don't know, I thought I'd throw that in there to trick you, but you got it. Because originally, the first fact I read was the guy from Jurassic Park.
Yes.
That's the original one I saw. And then I started looking in...
I wondered what his real accent was because of both of the movies. And both the show's movies. But it said that he was from New Zealand, and then he had help from Liam Neeson. Yeah,
But then as I kept researching, I realized that they all kind of had to learn. Because the original question was going to be, guy from Jurassic World is A, and then all these other people. And then when I was like, but wait a minute. Like, I should look up these other actors to see if they had to learn anything too. I can't just put a false fact down. So I kept looking into it, and it turned into that.
Yes. I love your facts. Okay.
Peaky Blinders. Peaky fucking... Oh, I forgot to say Birmingham, like Birmingham. Like Birmingham. Or whatever they say.
Alright, my second question. According to superstition, you can see a witch at midnight on Halloween if you...
Ooh.
A. Wear your clothes backwards and walk backwards.
Okay.
B. Walk around your home 3 times backwards and then clockwise before sunset. C. Walk through a graveyard backwards with your pockets inside out and your hands bound.
C was graveyard, B was walking around the house, and then A was clothes backwards. I'm gonna go with B, walking around the house with the...
walk around the house 3 times backwards and then clockwise before sunset?
Yes.
The answer is A.
Oh, really?
Yes. The answer is...
Those other ones were super elaborate.
I know, and I will explain all of them as to why I chose all of them.
Okay.
So, wear your clothes backwards and walk backwards is apparently a traditional superstition that says that you can see a witch at midnight on Halloween if you put your clothes backwards and walk backwards.
Okay.
However, I chose the B, walk around your home 3 times backwards and then clockwise before sunset, wards off evil spirits on Halloween. And walk through a graveyard backwards with your pockets inside out and your hands bound. So, the real fact I read was just, when you walk past a graveyard or a home you believe is haunted, you're supposed to turn your pockets out so that you don't carry the spirits with you.
Oh, okay.
When you go through them.
Oh,
and
shit.
So
that's cool.
The backwards part was just to go with my theme of like walking
everything backwards. Yeah.
And
nice.
And the hands bound thing was just like supposed to be like fucking
crazy.
Hands down in a graveyard. Or whatever.
Damn.
Just to throw you off a little bit.
That's a good one. I like that. Okay. Well, I got that wrong, so.
We're just catching up to each other.
Yeah.
So back to
me.
You. Yes, back to you.
Okay. Alright, I am done with the Peaky Blinder questions. Carrying on with my theme of film, though. This actress starred in a Black Mirror episode alongside with John Hamm, which is the Mad Men, the main character in Mad Men. Starred with him in the episode White Christmas. Who is this actress related to? Her first name is Una. I cannot give you a last name. Is she related to A, Shirley Temple, B, Charlie Chaplin, or C, John Wayne?
Oh my gosh, that's pretty good.
Do you remember the White Christmas episode, though?
Not too well.
No, the one where he was, like, stuck in some machine and time went on forever and ever and ever. Like, they, like, downloaded his subconscious to some kind of machine and he was stuck in this house or something with his roommate.
I don't know.
I could be wrong. That might be a different episode. They're all kind of
they're all
blurry to
have
me.
a theme of, like, downloading your subconscious and technology.
This actress, I've seen pictures of her. She's not, like, she was in Game of Thrones once.
You know what? I don't, like, I'm just gonna go for... fucking no. It's just...
You act like you're just gonna throw an answer out there, but you keep thinking about it.
I'm just gonna say Shirley Temple because she was a sweetheart.
Okay. Wrong.
Yeah.
It was actually Charlie Chaplin. Her name is Una Chaplin, and she was in that episode White Christmas with John Hamm, and was in Game of Thrones once. I don't really have any fun facts other than she's Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter.
Man,
Someone's getting good.
Yes. No, I honestly I kept going back and forth between every single one and trying to think about it. But I just went for the fact of, like, well, I really loved Shirley Temple, so I'm just going to choose her.
Yeah. I thought you would have got Charlie Chaplin right away because Peaky Blinders, how they just talked about.
I know.
That's kind of why I threw it in there.
I know.
Yeah.
But I know, and it's in Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
But you're like, I'm done with those questions now. And I was just like, I don't know. I'm just going to...
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know.
But I don't. That's my last. Peaky Blinders, I'm done with that. Because I don't want to, like, keep going on about that, especially if whoever's listening has never watched it and they're like, dude, fuck.
I mean, that was just, like, a side fact, though. Like, they wouldn't,
Yeah, my earlier ones, though, I didn't want to keep going because I was going to do, like, all my questions would be Peaky Blinders because this website was filled with cool facts. Like, just awesome. Cheers.
While a vast majority of Halloween scare stories about razor blades and apples, poisoned or drugged candy is false, one story is completely true.
Oh. Am I going to have to guess this?
What killer candy was used?
Ooh. Okay.
A. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Okay.
B. Pixie Sticks. C. Sour Patch Kids.
Okay. Used to kill someone? Or, like, someone poisoned this candy? Or
like, you know how, like, you hear in, like...
the new, like, yeah.
Like, the news or whatever, like, watch out for razor blades and your apples and your poisoned candy.
All it did was just create memes.
And can't, like, it's gonna...
Yeah. Watch out, people are putting marijuana in there.
Yeah, right. Like, everybody's gonna, like, be willing to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get these kids real high.
Yeah.
like drug addicts don't want to do that. Like, they want to keep it to themselves. Like, they're not like, here, let's just get everyone. Like, like, they're stingy with that. They're not gonna want to.
Yeah, no one's. I mean, not to say marijuana users are.
No, I'm just, like, in general, like, just what they say or whatever.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Watch out, whatever. But, however, one was true. What was the candy that had a...
I'm going to go with...
whatever in it.
I'm going to go with Pixie Sticks. I think it's going to be the easiest.
Alright. So, when I explain this, it's a little sad. So, I mean, it's kind of sad to hear.
Alright, take a shot now.
But it is Pixie Sticks.
Okay.
8-year-old Timothy O'Brien had a packet of Pixie Sticks given to him by his father.
What?
So, like, not just like, oh, just like, like, watch out, your neighbors are gonna, whatever. Like, it was, no. His father, Ronald, at the end of the night after trick-or-treating, so, like, they went out together to go trick-or-treating, had their fun night, and the last candy of the night he gave him was, here, to signify an awesome night of trick-or-treating, have a Pixie Stick.
That's fucking awful.
And, no, it gets fucking worse.
Oh, great.
This is about to be bad, so... If anybody's really sensitive about this shit, don't fucking listen. Okay, so he almost immediately went into convulsions and died an hour later. And they found that it had been laced with cyanide, and the father had given all of his children. So there was more than just that one child, but he had multiple children, and he had given them all the candy. But luckily, the other children hadn't eaten that candy yet. Like any other children would just be like, I'm gonna have that right now. But the one kid did, and the one kid that did, he died. And this is like really like what gets me. So the father said, because he'd been financially struggling, he took out massive life insurance policies on his children, and then that he wanted to cash out because of their deaths. So he kill them off so he could get their life insurance policies.
Dude, how could you even live with yourself, man? I would argue the death sentence for that guy.
Oh, guess what?
Yes.
Yes. So he wanted to cash them out. Ronald O'Brien was found guilty, sentenced to death, and
fuck you, Ronald.
executed in 1984.
High five to that.
For real.
Jeez.
I mean, that is crazy.
Dude, fucking people, man. Money will makes people do stupid shit.
That is mind blowing. Like, you're willing to, you're cool with that. Yeah.
Not that it makes it any better, but all your kids, not,
he pre-planned it.
Yeah.
He went and got life insurance policies on, when you're sitting there going oh, we're poor as fuck, how should we resolve this? What should I do to get myself out of this hole?
Yeah.
What he thought of was
I'm gonna go kill my kids.
I'm gonna take out massive life insurance policies on my children.
And he thought he wasn't gonna get caught. That is the first thing detectives do. Oh, this dude just on all his kids? Holy shit! This guy will be making $2 million.
It makes me sad.
Dumbass motherfucker.
And I will drink to that because I am so sad about it.
Okay, all right. And also, you lost.
I lost, but also, dude, fuck that guy.
Alright, actually, I'll do one with you as well.
Because fuck that guy.
What was his name?
Ronald. Oh, you mean the child?
No, the guy.
Yeah, Ronald.
Yeah, rest in hell, Ronald.
For fucking real. Fuck you, Ronald.
Cheers. Oh!
I'll be one of the titles. Fuck you, Ronald.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess it's my turn after this sad, sad story. True or false? Ostriches bury their heads in the ground.
I mean, I feel like I can, see that being a thing. Maybe it's not ostriches. Maybe it's for something I don't know. I'll just say true.
Okay. It's pretty well known that ostriches do that, but it's false, actually. It's a wives' tale.
Okay.
You will see an ostrich with its head down when it's scared. People think they bury their heads in the ground, but they actually just lay their heads on the ground. But it looks like it's in the ground because of the light shade their head is when they lay their heads on the ground.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought you would have known that fact.
No, I actually don't know. And I just I feel like I've heard that before. But at the same time, what if it's a different animal? What if, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Nope, it's false. They actually do not. They just lay their heads on the ground.
You cannot tell already, all my questions so far are Halloween related.
Yes.
And all of them will be Halloween related.
I was thinking about it.
It is Halloween.
Yeah.
And
but we did that last night, so I was like, I don't know.
That was Hallow's Eve. And I purposely did not, I kind of wavered from that because I knew that I wanted to do our Halloween episode today. So there's a time for me to do...
Well, it's good that you did that and I didn't, so then, it's not all. We got some variety here.
Yeah. Alright, on to my true or false.
Okay.
In the Irish tradition, people did not bob for apples on Halloween, but potatoes instead.
So I'm going to run you through my thought process here.
Okay.
I would say true, because that sounds legitimate, but it could be also something different, and you're trying to throw me off. It could be some, squash or something, or... something. Oh, by the way, did you know pumpkin and squash and all that are actually the same species of plant? They just grow differently.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're not they're actually not even different plants. They're the same plant.
Wow.
They're not different, I don't know. But I don't know where I read that.
I figured they'd be the same family. But...
Right, not even, they're identical. Potatoes, huh? Instead of apples. I'm going to go with true. My gut is telling me true.
Okay. Because, the Irish, potatoes go pretty close.
Oh, yeah. You are right.
Although apples were not found in Ireland, neither was a tradition of bobbing for potatoes. The idea of bobbing for anything is a American invention.
So they didn't do any of that shit.
They didn't do anything like that.
Oh.
However, Halloween actually originated in Ireland. So, like, traditionally, like, we basically,
like everything
took on,
Mm-hmm.
Irish tradition.
Yeah. Like spaghetti.
We came up with our own, things on top of that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It originated in Ireland. Halloween did.
Yeah.
However,
brought
the
over
whole
here.
bobbing thing was American.
Yeah.
And never was something that the Irish did.
But I'm sure the Irish brought it over here, and then probably an Irishman came up with the idea as well.
Yes. So,
I mean, that's how, like, I would assume, like, spaghetti wasn't invented in Italy. It was brought, like, probably someone during, when, a lot of people immigrated over here into New York City and whatnot. They brought their ideas with them and then mixed it together and came up with the idea of spaghetti. Or was pizza even originated out there? I think pizza is American as well, technically. Or our idea of pizza.
Our idea of pizza, I would say,
Yeah.
at least. Because I know that they just do it a little different. It's made a little different, but they definitely had it. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Which, by the way, after this, we're going to eat some pizza. I'm going to throw a pizza.
Okay, alright, I'm down.
We talked about that earlier. Like, we have to have some pizza.
Although the chili hit the spot for like 30 minutes.
No, it was so good, though.
Yeah.
They had put pumpkin puree in it.
Yes.
And it actually,
she said she put apple cider in it, too.
Honestly, it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good. Like, that is a new, like, soup for me, like, for, like, Halloween time or, like, fall time. Like,
yes.
I feel like that's, like, I could not believe how good that was. Like, you add a little sour cream. Like, it was really good.
I felt bad because I brought up the fact of, I was talking about how there was, there's this church I used to go to and they had chili contests.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like she thought I was leading her there. And, like, I was kind of, but I didn't say it outright because I would, like, didn't want to be, like, I thought it was that good. She could enter a chili contest with that.
Yeah. No, that was all, that was all good.
Yeah.
Like,
I felt bad that I didn't just, like, directly say
like,
you should enter a contest.
You
because I felt like she was waiting for me to say that, but I was just, I don't know, for some reason I felt, I don't know.
I don't think she was thinking that deeply into it, but definitely true, because I thought, like, I would, like, when I was eating it, I was like, that was so good. I was like, I'm gonna put this down on, like, a recipe card, and she said we were her guinea pigs, but that was delicious.
What a treat.
It was
What a
so good. Like, honestly, like, she's like, you can get some more later if you want to. She's like, do you want more? I'm like, as soon as I, like, started eating, I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm not getting a second bowl of this.
Yes,
this
exactly.
is so good.
Yep.
Freaking great. My sister-in-law.
Yep.
And also, she's married to my brother, and he also is a fantastic cook. I'm never disappointed with anything they turn up. Like, they're always so fucking great at cooking. I love it.
Dare I say your whole family is above average cooking. Like, really good, It's been passed down. Jim, he's really good at making these cookies. Like, he always makes, like, cookies like, around this, like, time. I'm disappointed. I've never had anything he smoked. He is a smoker. I've never had. I don't think I ever have.
Yeah, he is always smoking his meat, and that
smoking the meat
looks delicious. I mean, I could name everything. Mm-hmm. One of my siblings are, like, specifically good at, like, Beth, her Thunder Dip. Like, that's the first thing that popped in my head too. I mean, Anna, like, I'm one of 7 siblings, so, Anna, Ed, Joe, Jim, Beth, Bill, and then me, but I could label something for one of my siblings. There's always something special that
they
I
have,
really
like,
love
one
about
specialty
what they do.
each that they all make really well.
I mean, some have, like, a couple things, like, seriously, just, like, out of my head, be like, dude, that was so good when they made that, but... Mm-hmm. Anyways, I love their cooking. I love my family's cooking. My grandma's good at cooking. Like, my mom's good at cooking. There's always
Your mom can make a killer casserole.
What I was thinking of was she made this mac and cheese. It was like Reuben mac and cheese.
Oh, what?
Remember that? Remember she put pickles in it and corned beef.
Oh, dude.
And all this, like, she put all this stuff in it, and it was just That was so... Oh, the Thousand Island dressing, like, it was so freaking delicious. And, like, I told her that, like, not a little while ago. I was like, Mom, like, that's really good. Like, you should make it again. She's like, oh, really? You thought it was good? I'm like, dude, like, I couldn't stop eating it. It was so good. There's corned beef in the fridge now. And it almost inspired her, I think, to, like, make it again for Jim and Bess, you know, birthday. Which, there's 2 sets of twins in my the 7 of us. There's 2 sets of twins in a row that were born.
Right.
So one of the twins' birthday sets are coming up. And she's thinking about making that for their birthday. I was like, you
please.
Better make that for their
Push
birthday.
her.
Please.
Push her.
It's so fucking good. Anyways.
Alright.
Is it on me or you? Yeah, no, it's you. It's you.
Yeah.
It's your last question. And then
My last question, true or false? Lightning never strikes in the same place twice.
I mean, I've heard that phrase before. Although at some point in time, I feel like it may have happened. I've heard that phrase before for sure, but I feel like at some point it could have happened.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say false, right?
Yeah.
Because I believe like false because I think that.
Wrong.
Yes.
No, wrong. It's true. Lightning has never struck.
True.
Yeah.
It's
Lightning has never struck in the same place twice. Okay. I threw that in there just to throw all y'all off. Well, actually, my plan was to read that one first and then do my other true and false after. But yeah, no, it's true. I mean, in recorded history, but I find it hard to believe that has to be. It has to be false.
I mean, yeah.
Because the lightning rods on top of tall buildings.
That's what
You're telling me they've only got struck by lightning once?
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm sure a spot has been hit like.
Yeah.
Before.
Or are they saying like?
Although maybe the fact is like, oh, the same lightning has not come back or something like the same storm.
There's never the same lightning. Once that lightning's gone, it's gone.
Right. I know, and I don't forget. We both take one.
Yes,
together
I will.
Since,
yeah.
Like
I agree with you. I was actually just about to offer.
Right. Because like, well, no, it's just the fact alone that like. Okay, so
I find it hard to believe.
The same spot has never, like, the lightning rods, you know, like, what is it, Ben Franklin?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
He invented the lightning rods.
Right. Like, that's what made me think, like, oh, of course. Like, I mean, it could have just happened once that he found his findings on, or
exactly.
Else,
no, he would not have invented something just to prevent a house being struck by lightning once. And you're telling me, I bet you can find, go online right now, and look up Empire State Building getting struck by lightning. And look at all the images. Guaranteed, there are multiple pictures of the Empire State Building being struck by lightning.
I know, and that's why, like, that fact gets blurry. Because it's like, well, if I'm thinking about it, you know.
I looked up... I literally went on a true and false question generator today. I was feeling lazy with the true and false questions.
Well, yeah, but that's why you always try to double check your facts because like that's why I always I at least attempt to try to at least look up my questions always twice.
Okay.
So
I mean, if you want to, right now I can look it up and do some research and talk about it.
We'll do it after the podcast,
okay.
And then maybe we can touch on it the next one, just so we can say like, hey, like this is what we found.
I mean, we can.
But I usually try to do that just so I at least. In the first place, I try to find more facts on that fact.
Yeah.
But additionally, there's a sense of like some people disagree on certain facts. Some people find that they have different answers for different facts.
I mean, we didn't start this show, to be clear. We didn't start this show for like 100% accuracy. It's mostly just a fun game. Right. We couldn't be wrong about any of these. There are multiple opinions, multiple views on how these things, work.
And I'm sure that there has been already questions at this point.
So another thing, if we are wrong, send us in some, correct us. Correct us if we're wrong. I want to hear.
If you have fact, but also if you do have fact about it, please send us the links or sources behind why you believe something's not true. Because especially some of us, like we spend time trying to resource these. We go to multiple sites. We try to make sure we're as truthful as possible. I mean, like
I didn't with that last one, but
the last one, yeah. But most of the time, though, we usually look up multiple sources. So obviously, things like sneak through the cracks. So if you believe that one of our facts are wrong, or like even in the future, like
Right.
hey, like just an update that just happened on this fact or whatever. Like, oh, this is what happened. Like
like we're not trying to
tell us.
give facts to try and like change people's minds about things and manipulate. Like this is just a fun game. Like if we're wrong, we're wrong. Like, who cares?
And it's a fun game, but also the same fact we are trying to be factual.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Not that we're willy-nilly about factoids and whatnot.
The internet is not always 100%.
That's what I was going to say.
It's not. So again, just a basic point. I mean, we don't have to bring it up again, but we know that we're not perfect, and
True that.
You
Cheers.
can always email us at theofficialsubliminal and just let us know, like, hey, this is what I know, and here's my sources, and then we'll fix ourselves. We'll make an episode just fixing our shit, but
Yep.
We'll call it fixing our shit.
Yeah.
Or we'll find out. We'll see what we call it, but let us know.
Definitely. I think it's I mean, our podcast is called 10 Drunken Facts, so we try to keep it as factual as possible. So.
But as much as we want to be truthful, like there's always things that for the sake of fun or whatever, like superstition or whatever. We'll
I once had a fact that was, dude, frogs time travel. You know what I mean? Like, that's far-fetched. But if you watch the Avatar: The Last Airbender, seems like he kind of time traveled, though, didn't it?
Right, because that was factual.
But frogs actually do that. Frogs freeze and then unfreeze. They temporarily die and then come back to life once they unthaw. Sounds like goddamn time travel.
Anyways. It's all fun. It's all games. I mean, if there is something that you feel like obviously in some ways, like, I'm sure we could easily, like, have offended someone or, like, said something wrong or whatever that, like, someone could be like, oh, that's not true, though. Like, if you ever feel that way at any point, feel free to just
totally
send an
email.
Yeah. We will not be offended. Just let us know, like, in the kindest way possible.
Right.
Don't yell at us. However, just let us know, like, hey, like, man, like, just so you know, this is how I feel about that, and we'll take that into consideration.
Right. I mean, we're learning. This is only episode 5, so.
Yeah, it's something we're doing, So don't be afraid to let us know.
Absolutely. So, do you have any more left, or?
Yes, I have one more. Traditionally, jack-o'-lanterns were lit with oil to keep them lit for long periods of time. Also, this is our 50th question.
Really? Episode 5, the last question. Yes. You're right. Yeah.
This is technically our 50th question.
Yes. Yep. And episode 10 will be our 100th question. Yeah.
So hopefully you guys will submit your questions.
Submit your fucking questions.
But then my hope, though, is that, like, maybe, like, the 10th one will be, like, our viewers' submissions, and then we can,
I would really, I don't know if we'll
see how it goes. We want enough, though, at that point, so we gotta wait until we actually have enough submissions.
Go on with the question.
As our 50th question, traditionally, jack-o'-lanterns were lit with oil to keep them lit for long periods of time.
So true or false?
Yeah, true or false. Like, instead of, like, candles, like how we usually put candles and stuff.
I'm confused. Jack-o'-lanterns were lit with
oil to keep them lit for longer periods. Like,
so what? They just dumped oil in the pumpkin?
Like they were lit with oil. Like they would put. I'm not.
Like this doesn't make sense to me.
No, like I'm not going. I can't give you like.
I can't make an accurate assumption if I don't understand what's being done. I mean, oil. I've heard of oil lanterns. Like, like I used to have them in the old cabin.
Yes.
When they had Pup's old
I know,
cabin.
but
pretty sure they still have oil lanterns in their house. Like,
right.
You're afraid you're gonna give it away if you explain anymore.
Traditionally, jack-o'-lanterns were lit with oil to keep them lit for long periods of time.
True.
Saying true.
Yes.
Celtic tradition had people place coal instead of carved turnips. No, hold on. Not even pumpkins.
Yeah.
But turnips to ward off evil spirits who traditionally were thought to be closest to Earth.
This has nothing to do with jack-o'-lanterns, though. You can't just summon up a whole, like, what?
No, so it says... No, so I did this, like, quiz thing of, like, true or false, like, questions.
Yeah.
And it said, traditionally, jack-o'-lanterns were lit with oil to keep them lit for long periods of time. I thought that made sense, because...
Yeah, of course.
Thing, like,
it does make sense.
No, like, think about the fact of, like, you know how I did, like, those orange peels? Where I ate an orange, and then I cut it in half, and then took out the centers, and kept the wicks through the centers, and then I lit them, and then had oil in them, and then I burned them through.
Yep.
I literally put true... when I clicked on that, because I was like, oh, like, yeah, like, I've done that, like, you know, and it makes it burn longer. I mean, obviously, a wick would go through really quickly, like, whatever.
But that's an orange peel, not oil.
But it made me think of the same thing of, like, oh, they could put, like, oil in the bottom so that, like, it would still have something to, like, have to burn through for a long period of time to, like, get through the bottom.
I guess, yeah.
Anyways.
But then you jump to turnips to... get away from evil spirits? Like, I don't...
Well, no, but here... So hold on. So, instead of... You know, because they... Actually, jack-o'-lantern... Okay, so there's a couple facts, like, beyond this.
Oh, like, hidden inside. Okay.
Okay, so, first off, I'll just touch on a couple different things. So, I kept on seeing the fact of, like, oh, jack-o'-lanterns was based off of an actual person in Ireland.
Oh, yeah. Stringy Jack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah.
Jack. That's why they call it jack-o'-lanterns.
Yes, yeah.
And so I kept reading that, I'm like, well, seems pretty simple. I don't want to put that as, like, my basic answer, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then also, on top of it, I kept seeing the fact. People in Ireland used to use turnips, all kinds of, like, different little things, like, other things than pumpkins originally, to be their, like, jack-o'-lanterns, or, like, what they would carve first, like, and put things into... to, like, be there.
So did they carve these
jack-o'-lanterns? And so I kept reading that fact. I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to just put, like, you know, what else was used, you know, besides a pumpkin or whatever. Like, I wanted to find something different. So when I did this quiz, and then it said, oh, the jack-o'-lantern thing, I'm like, with oil, I'm like, oh, okay, fine, sure. Like, I did that or whatever. And then I found out that it was false. And then it directly correlated to the fact of, like, oh, like, it reminded me of the jack-o'-lantern thing. I kept reading. And then, and it also reminded me of the fact that before pumpkins and actual jack-o'-lanterns, they had used, to, like, carved just like pumpkins had been.
Are you sure they didn't mean just, like, hollow out, though?
In any sense, though, they still were carving those things to put the lights in. So the same sense of a pumpkin of... I'm going to carve it so I can put a light in it or something in it is the same kind of thing, even if they carve it of, like, a design on it or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure someone did at some point.
But it's still something.
But, I mean, think about it. That's probably, like, the first, like, a lantern idea. Like just a lantern in general was, like, take this organic thing and, like, empty it out, put a candle in it, and it, like, sheds light.
Right. I mean, that was a widely, like, dispersed, like, idea, though, of, like, lanterns. But, like, the direct thinking behind the turnip and everything like that, and putting the coal in it to burn it, was to get rid of the bad spirits, and they would do it traditionally around October 31st, because they believed that spirits were closest to the earth on the 31st.
Wow. So this was even before, like, Halloween in general?
This is the start of Halloween. That goes back to my fact where I told you of Halloween had originated in Ireland. Yeah. It was All Hallows Eve. It was, you know, Samhain. It was spirits.
Right.
I can't think of whatever.
I mean, go ahead.
But it all was based out of Ireland. So that, like, the original thoughts, the original ideas, the idea of harvest, the idea of New Year's Eve, like, came from that time. Like, the whole, like, oh, this new season has begun. Like, that was the new year had begun. Like, everything, like, starts at Ireland. Like, when it comes to
I'm wondering...
It's a Celtic thing.
Yes, I know. I'm wondering, though, if something happened around this time at some point to make someone believe this is when, you know, the spooky shit happens. Like, what happened? What was the first thing to happen on this date?
I mean, but that's the thing, though. Like, it's just, like, I think it coincides with, like, everything that people believed at that time. Like, because if you think back, whatever, like, about times or whatever that had happened, like, there was the Salem witch trials, there was everything, like, people just believed in stuff like that. There was shit going on that made them believe.
It's not until almost the current day that people stopped almost believing in that stuff. And then now it's kind of on the uprise again, like a very short period of time where people were like, that's not a thing, that's not a thing.
What's not a thing?
Like spirits and whatnot.
People have believed that for thousands of years.
Exactly, but now, and then, even religion...
I'm just curious about what period, though, you're talking about that you think that people...
This period, I think there... I think this period. Because
that's not true, though.
It is, because a lot of people don't believe in that, and back then, everyone believed it. No, hold on. Back then, everyone believed that. Everyone. It was just a universal thing.
I mean, I guess I understand the fact of, like...
Even though it's not by a lot?
And stuff like that. And I guess I understand the fact of, like, back then people were like, yeah, that shit's fucking legit.
Exactly.
But no matter what you think, every single religion, every single kind of whatever believes in something.
Mm.
There's never not been a period where people believe in something.
Yeah.
There's never been a break. There maybe has been a decline of, like, disbelief.
Okay.
But in every single period, there's been a decline in disbelief.
Okay, alright. But in Ireland back then, I'm sure everyone did that. And nowadays, it's very, very seldom that stuff like that happens.
I mean, traditionally it was the end of harvest, right? That was the beginning of the idea of...
The new season's beginning,
behind that.
Yeah.
Right? So that comes to the idea of, like, harvesting and farmers and agriculture at that time. And there was I'm not a history buff. I won't claim to be. However, I know that there was the potato famine. I know that there was issues with their crops. I know that there was things like that was in Ireland that was happening. I mean, people have to turn all different kinds of things for, like, what that is, what's happening. They were living in old houses. Who knows what was happening to them, what they were turning to, what they were believing in. It's hard to get a full grasp, though, on what started it completely. But I feel like I feel like I get the fact of, like, all right, so what do we do to fix? People are coming up with these things of, like, how do we fix this famine? How do we fix these problems with my land? What is happening, or whatever? Right. And I think it's something easy to turn on of, like, I mean, even just...
It's easy to blame something higher than you.
Not yet, like, blaming, but also, like, I mean, I'm sure, like, shit was, like, being, like, anything weird that happened in someone's house, they're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, shit like that. Like,
I'm sure spooky shit probably was happening.
Right, like, shit was happening, so, like, they were like, alright, something has to be, like, happening here, like, maybe it's these spirits I believe that are in my house, or whatever, that are affecting my crops, they're affecting my whatever. I mean, we don't know what began the belief of that. They didn't have TV, they didn't have access to the web, they didn't have access to things, like, who knows what they believed.
But isn't that even crazier, though, that they didn't have that, and yet everyone back then believed it?
I know, but the thing is, though, like, word of mouth was an insane thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for example, going back to what I just talked about, Salem.
Yeah.
Salem witch trials. All you had to fucking do to fuck up your neighbor, like, I fucking hate this bitch, she's a witch.
Yeah, like, I heard, I smelled basil coming out the window. Must be witchcraft, like some BS.
They could say anything they wanted. If I don't like this person. I mean, everyone was on their tiptoes because anyone could call witchcraft on anybody, and as long as you were the first person saying that, Tabitha is a witch, then people would start catching on to that. And it's just, it's hard because all they had was word of mouth. They couldn't look up shit. They couldn't. It's harder to think of right now because our thinking is of modern day. It's of,
right.
Oh, well, duh.
But my point is that when my parents were growing up, there was only one thing. There was only one religion, really. And everyone believed in that religion.
At the same part, though, that's not true. That was just your experience of that thing. Because
sure, like in America, like not in America, but I mean, sure, there's definitely you have your, all sorts of things but no one believed in such things as like evil spirits coming around as much, especially in America. You know, that was something I feel like was definitely in the decline.
At the same time, though, every single religion used stuff like that as an evil spirit or an evil something to persecute someone.
Right.
The devil.
So you're saying you think this is just our own version, and we have a hard time splitting it up because it's almost the same, but it's different.
I think that there's similarities within each belief and like every like
through all of time.
I think there's every like no matter what, there's believers, there's disbelievers, it's hard to find a middle ground on these topics because of
course there is, of course.
And I think that it's wrong to say there's a huge just decline or incline or whatever. It's just something that happens throughout time.
I just remember talking about people about ghosts and stuff like that, and there was a time where like the people I talked to at least were like, no, that's stupid, like of course there's not ghosts.
Well,
but
so
then
part of that though is like some people like either like are like, no, that's not real, but at the same time they're like some of it's like fearfulness of like, oh no, like no, whatever, like they're afraid, there's fearfulness, there's whatever, like there's all kinds of resolve, there's facts, there's like, I mean, we can look up stuff like that now and get an informed like decision and be like, oh no, that's just not real.
I mean, that goes back to one of the first facts I said on one of our earlier episodes was Wisconsin has the most ghost reports of any other state in the world, in the United States, but among the world.
Which at the same time, like being kind of devil's advocate or whatever, like, you know, all right, so you have to think about the fact of like, all right, so a lot of Wisconsinites feel the sense of cabin fever, you know, like they have this seasonal depression, they have this everything that's going on, they stay in their houses, they're feeling whatever, they're feeling however they're feeling, like maybe that has an effect on these things. Maybe
I think that is completely accurate.
Whatever.
I think that could be definitely,
Right, like they're feeling bored, they're feeling like, you know, just any, like literally any situation can affect those things.
Right.
And so
any mindset, any, you know, small circumstance.
So especially nowadays, there's so much conflict and so many different things because you can conflict anything you hear. There's so much facts out there. There's so many theories. There's so many different things that can affect different things. That it complicates how we think. It complicates how we make, you know, our choices on this is how I'm taking the side of I believe there's ghosts. Oh, I'm taking the side of there is no ghosts, and we just, you know, just there's reasoning.
We flip back and forth, you know.
Right, and there's reasoning behind everyone's fact. I think we should probably end this. We've been going on probably longer than the whole podcast was beforehand. Let's just.
All right.
So, this is the part where we try to encourage our viewers to submit your questions to theofficialsubliminal.com and officialsubliminal@gmail.com, and we would appreciate it if you would send in your ABC questions, your true or false questions. Make sure you give us a quick rundown of like as your like a reasoning as to why your answer is your answer, a little facts as to why, you know, things are what they are. And we'll get a group of us together, a group of our friends, and we'll all answer them together. So that'll be super fun. Please send in your questions.
Or corrections about our own facts.
Yeah, or corrections as well. About things we've said and you feel like, oh, well, I had this different stance on this. We want to hear it all. So,
thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing us out.
Yep.
We appreciate you. Thank
Goodbye.
you so much. Goodbye. 10 Drunken Facts.